Hey mate, you got a couple of bucks? I want to get a hit of heroin. The big reason why I don't recommend carbon bikes for noobs is because carbon bikes are a lot more fragile. I'll give you the tips on carbon care. Is carbon bikes will snap in half a lot easier if you drop on the ground. So for your first bike, unless you've got a bit more moolah, I'd recommend alloy, like the Giant Avail alloy version or the Giant Defy alloy version for your first bike. Unless you've got bigger moolah, and you can just, doesn't matter if you snap your bike in half in the first crash. Alloy bike is just stronger, has more hits. Another thing is, be careful when you're storing carbon bikes, they don't rub against something. Because carbon is like literally millimetre thin, 2 millimetres thin sometimes. So if you've got it in the back of a car or a bus and it's rubbing on something, it'll literally wear the frame away. This is true for alloy frames, where alloy is a lot harder, a bit thicker, can handle a bit more, especially the entry-level frames. So be careful when you're transporting carbon bikes. They're very prone to getting compression cracks or rubbing apart each other. So very careful when you transport carbon bikes. Carbon bars as well. If you crash them, bin them, because that's why most pros don't run carbon bars, because they crash all the time. So you're just throwing bars in the bin a lot more. Another tip with carbon is that it's a great lightweight material, but you've got to know when you're doing a little torque wrench here, make sure that you don't do it up too tight, the carbon stem, whatever, because you can snap stuff. So invest in a torque wrench. Some of the main tips is be careful to avoid dropping carbon, and be careful when you're storing it or shipping carbon, and you always use a torque wrench when using any carbon product. Alright? Simple as that. Hey man, I got this cold I got 360. I'll give it to you for 50 bucks, mate. I'm just gonna get a hit, mate. Gotta get a hit.